Good morning. Hayom Yom, Elul. So the Rebbe begins by telling us the laws, how one acts when you're called up to read by the Torah. So he says that you go up there and the Torahs open up to the reading, and you take your talus and you touch the beginning and the end of the Torah reading, and you kiss the talus. Then you close the Torah, you turn to the right side slightly, and you make the appropriate bracha. And that's what you do. Now, two things are interesting here. That first of all, in the original printing in 1943, so the Rebbe didn't write that you should touch the text with your talus, because in general it is forbidden for us Jews to touch the actual Torah scroll, the actual Torah text. We can only hold it by the handles. You're not allowed to touch the parchment. And some opinions go so far as to say that you're not even allowed to touch the parchment through another object, through the talus. So originally in 1943, the Rebbe did not write they should touch it through the talus, but in the reprinting, in the second edition, in Tafshin Yud Zayin, the Rebbe added that in. The second interesting thing is that the Rebbe says that you should close the scroll and turn to the right when you make the bracha, because in the Gemara there's an argument if you need to close the scroll or if you can just keep it open and make the bracha and then start reading. And the opinion which says you need to close the scroll says that people might think that you don't actually know the blessings by heart, but the blessings are written into the parchment and you're reading it off the parchment, and that would be forbidden to write anything extra on the parchment. And because of that, to make sure nobody does that and nobody's cheshes that, you close it, and that's the Bart. And that's also where it comes from, to turn away to the side, to make sure everyone realizes that you're not reading the blessings from the parchment. But what's interesting is the Ramah writes that you should turn to the side, but he says you should turn to the left, and the Rebbe tells us that A, we follow the opinion which says you need to close the scroll, and B, that we turn to the right side. Okay. Then in the rest of the Hayom Yom, so he says an idea which is basically based on a teaching in the Zohar, which says that in the Hebrew language, in Lashon HaKodesh, there are many words to describe man. There's many synonyms for man. And four of the main ones are Adam, Enesh, Ish, and Gever. Adam, Ish, Enesh, Gever. And these four are often used very interchangeably, but really each one has a specific meaning, each one has a certain connotation to it, each one's describing a certain kind of man. And it says Adam represents, and Adam's describing someone who's very strong intellectually, someone who's very well developed and strong intellectually. And Ish represents and is describing someone who's very strong emotionally, someone who's very emotionally developed. Enesh represents someone who's very weak and very deficient, either intellectually or emotionally or both. And Gever, which comes from the Hebrew word like hiskabros, to overcome, or to overcome your natural difficulties, or to overpower. So Gever represents someone and describes someone who's naturally deficient, who's naturally a little bit weak, either intellectually or emotionally or both. But through a lot of work and through a lot of effort, they elevated themselves and they developed themselves to be at the level of Adam or Ish or both. And that's essentially what it says there. And the Hayom Yom concludes that the fact that there is such a concept of Gever, the fact that a Gever exists and there's a concept of becoming a Gever, of overcoming your natural deficiencies, of your Enesh deficiencies, means that even before you've done that, even before you've grown, even while you're still an Enesh, even when you're still a deficient human being, you already have the ability, you already have the potential within you, you have the gifts within you of Adam and Ish. And it's only a matter of digging it up and revealing it and bringing it to the forefront and tapping into those resources. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.